We are now just hours away from the lineup for the 2025 Premier League being announced, and whilst there may be one or two slight surprises, nothing will come close to the shocker mission we're going to take a look at today. That involved one of the PDC's top stars and most successful players, James Wade, with him and the PDC having extremely different points of view about the decision. Hello and welcome back to Darts World. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the most controversial Premier League decision that the PDC has ever made. James was initially a BDO player and made his Lakeside World Championship debut in 2003, where he missed 8 match darts in a 3-2 loss against Dennis Harbour. He eventually made the switch over to the PDC in 2004 and made his PDC Worlds debut in 2005, where he lost in round 1 against Mark Holden. In his early PDC career, Wade played alongside working as a mechanic, but in 2006 he decided to become a full-time darts pro, and that quickly paid off, as in the summer of that year he reached a first major final after a great run at the World Match Play, where he was beaten by the then dominant Phil Taylor. A year later, he managed to win the match play, beating Terry Jenkins in the final to become the then youngest major winner in PDC history, aged 24. That year, he also won the World Grand Prix, beating Jenkins in the final again. 2008 saw him win another major, this time the UK Open, where he beat America's Gary Mawson. On the opening night of that year's Premier League, James also became the first player to beat Taylor since the Premier League began 3 years earlier in 2005, with that being the Power's 45th game in the Darting Roadshow event. Wade's momentum continued in 2009 as he managed to win the Premier League title, beating Mervyn King in the final, and in 2010 he won a major for the second time for the first time at the World Grand Prix, where he beat Adrian Lewis, and a now defunct title for the first time at the Championship League, where he managed to defeat Taylor in a big final for the first time. On that, James said that to defeat Phil in a major final was a huge achievement and something he'd wanted to do for a long time. Wade then looked set to end that year on a high note when he went 8-0 up on Scott Waites in the final of the Grand Slam, but he then shockingly lost 16-12 to the BDO player, throwing his darts to the floor in anger after. A few weeks later, as the number 2 seed at Ali Pali, he was beaten in his first game by the then unfancied Austrian Mensur Suljovic, who was an 8-1 outsider. He looked off during both of those games, and afterwards it was revealed that, following those losses, he checked in for 30 days of intensive treatment at the famous mental health hospital, the Priory, where he was diagnosed with bipolar and attention deficit disorders. James bravely went public with the news, and despite not previously being a big fan favourite, was cheered on by the crowd when he won his 7th major title at the UK Open in 2011, where he beat Wes Newton. James ended 2011 with 7 PDC major titles, the most of any player, apart from Phil, who had beaten him in 5 major finals up to that point. 2012 was the first year since 2007 that he did not win a major title, but it nearly started so well as he came so close to winning the world title for the first time, but lost to Adrian Lewis 6-5 in the semis, having been 5-1 up in the famous Wingate game, which was interrupted midway through. The winner of that game went through to face Andy Hamilton, and either man would have been the big favourite, with Lewis winning fairly comfortably. Then, towards the end of the year, he lost 2-1 to Colin Osborne in round 1 of the World Grand Prix, in a game where he visually struggled mentally, breaking down in tears on stage towards the end, in footage which is hard to watch. Following that game, a statement was released by James's management saying that he immediately flew home from Ireland to seek more treatment for his bipolar, and Wade said the following: "I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to all of my fans and everyone who supported me, especially since Tuesday. I'm home now and getting the right help so I can focus on getting myself right for the remainder of the season." 2013 saw him fail to win a major for the second season in a row, and during the year he was banned by the DRA for 4 events for an undisclosed incident that broke the rule of having the potential to bring the game into disrepute. Later on in the year, at the first ever Masters, he was involved in a backstage fight which security had to break up after James became annoyed at Phil Taylor throwing one of his flights that he thought was broken off of the stage. James wanted to forfeit the game, but was told to continue, and went on to lose 10-1, having averaged in the 70s, around 25 points less than he had in the previous round. Despite his trouble that year, he was very consistent in the other majors, reaching 5 semi-finals and 2 quarters. Wade managed to reach the quarters of the 2014 Worlds, but was beaten 5-1 by Adrian Lewis in a game where the man known as the Machine uncharacteristically missed 34 darts at double. Wade ended the Worlds ranked 6th in the world, meaning that he wasn't guaranteed a Premier League place, but many fans still thought that he'd easily get one and deserve one due to his status and decent season. At that point, Wade had been in the Premier League for 6 years in a row, but when Barry Hearn announced the 2014 lineup, he was shockingly left out, despite it being a 10-man field back then and featuring Wes Newton. Fans felt that this was a disgraceful decision, but Barry Hearn and Sky TV tried to justify it just after the announcement.
I think the committee took the situation with James Wade, a past winner and a great player. You know, he has had a few medical issues this year, and they've decided to give him a year off, and I'm sure James will bounce back from that and re-establish himself as one of the world's top players.
Yeah, I mean, as Barry said, the decision was made mainly on his health reasons. We think it would do him a favour to have a bit of a time off. He's had some problems. It's not taking away what a great player he is. We all know that, 7 times a major winner and what have you. But it was a tough decision right the way through. I mean, the last 2 days, it's been talked about all the time with, Barry and the committee and Rory from Sky.
Wade then released a statement showing how he was angry, not relieved to have a year off from the Prem. I'm obviously bitterly disappointed not to be included in the Premier League darts lineup for the first time in 7 years. The news was devastating, particularly as I feel I was one of the 4 most consistent players in 2013, reaching the semi-finals in many televised tournaments, including the Premier League playoffs. Since Barry Hearn broke the news live on Sky, there's been a large amount of speculation across media and social media platforms regarding the reasons for my omission. I would like to take this opportunity to clear up some confusion and confirm that I did not ask to be left out of the 2014 Premier League, nor did I decline an invitation, as lots of people are asking myself and my family. Further to this, I feel it's important to add that no medical professional has suggested I take a break either. My mental health issues have been well documented, but my condition is manageable and I have the right support systems around me. I have no choice now but to accept the decision made by the PDC and Sky and work to make sure I'm not in this position again. I have been working harder than ever on my game recently, and this has come as a major blow, but I will strive to climb back into the top 4 as soon as possible, where recent history suggests I belong. Finally, I would like to thank my fans, family and sponsors for their continued support, both in the past and in the last 24 hours, and I look forward to competing on TV again in the UK Open in March and all other televised PDC major events this year. And James managed to bounce back and win one of those majors, his first since 2011, at the 2014 Masters, after a brilliant comeback win against Mervyn King, and in 2015 he returned to the Premier League. He has since won 3 more majors, most recently at the 2021 UK Open, where he beat an emerging Luke Humphries to take his major tally to 11, which stands as the 3rd most of any player, behind the 2 modern era GOATs, Taylor and Van Gogh. On his 2013 ban and 2014 Premier League omission, James has since looked back and said the following: "That's probably when I got tarred with a brush. I'm still paying for that now. It really upset me." Now I want you to let me know what you think about this decision in the comment section down below, and also let me know any other shocking Premier League decisions that you can remember. Also, let me know what your lineup would be for this year's Premier League. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as currently just 15% of my views are. You can also hit the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever I upload a brand new darts video. You can also let me know any topics you want me to cover in the comment section. Thanks for watching.